You guys like complicated movies? This is one of them. The intro.
Our intros are getting better, I think.
Yeah, you think?
with the music that comes out of your mouth.
Oh yeah, you like that one?
I like that. I think all of our music.
I'll do it. I'll do it for
be,
that one. I'll
yeah.
do it for this one. I think that's fun.
I think we should just like
a weird
have
intro.
You make mouth noises, and it's just gonna be in the background of the whole video. Just tune down.
How's this for background music?
Okay, no. That sounds a little weird. So we're here again. It's movie time for the full-time movie fans.
There you go. Very good. very calm, very chill.
Man, I felt a little bit. One of those moods.
Jarvis has a different microphone today because
Yeah.
we read the comments.
Yeah, we do.
And I also read my text messages.
He's got strangers reaching out, finding his cell phone, and like personally like texting.
Yeah,
him to be
we
like,
had 3 people
bro.
come up to my front door and knock on it and go, "Hey, what's going on with Jarvis's microphone?"
One of them was a Amazon Prime delivery,
which was crazy, of the microphone.
Yeah, and he was like, "Here, you guys
Use
need
this."
more than
Yeah.
what we do."
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks,
Jeff
Jeff.
Bezos.
The Amazon. Yeah,
Yeah, Jeff.
Mr.
He also delivered it.
Mr. Bezos.
Yeah. Times are so tough that Jeff Bezos is also an Amazon delivery driver
You know
now.
what? People say a lot of bad things about him, but he's trying to take care of the little people like us. He didn't give us any money.
With
but
the microphone.
he still charged us for the microphone. But I mean, he's trying to help, right?
Yeah. This is not a sponsorship.
No, definitely not. So I'm your host, Jarvis. And
I'm your other host,
this is our host,
Michael, from
Michael.
20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Remember that time when you did the intro?
It'll make sense the more we talk about this movie.
Yes.
It's actually 24 hours ago we did this one.
Yeah.
But we're doing it again right now.
Yes, because we have to.
And we're also in the basement attic.
It's predestined for us to.
Yeah.
To
No,
do
different
it.
movie.
Oh.
Different
All
one.
So I just want to say again, I don't know. I think the vibe we try to go for is just friends hanging out talking about movies, which is literally what we're doing.
Yeah, we should probably make sure that people understand that. So
Yeah.
at the time that this came out, we just posted The Last Jedi.
Woo-wee,
Yeah.
boy,
And I will say, can I get controversial for a moment?
I mean, I think
Would that be fine?
We like The Last
Can
Jedi
I-
controversial.
Well, can I
so
get more controversial?
Get-
Can I
get
light
it.
some more fires real
please
quick?
Get it.
You Star Wars fans take it way too seriously. Like, way too seriously. People can enjoy movies that aren't great. I tell Jarvis this every episode now.
No,
You can enjoy movies that aren't conventionally good because they're fun, and that's okay. Does it make them a good movie? No, but it made it enjoyable. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like all of the Star Wars movies that were made are good. Obviously not. That's not the case. The Acolyte I've heard is terrible, and I'm not even going to watch it. But you guys take this way too seriously, so we're going to tone it back and talk about 2 movies that you should watch instead of Star Wars because, honestly, arguably more interesting than any of them.
let me just say that I a little bit disagree with what you just said, and
no.
I might be a little bit toxic because a lot of it is like I'm very firm on my stance that The Last Jedi is good, and when people
I'll stick with you on that one.
when people comment and they're like, no, it was just bad, and I'm like, but why? For what reason do you think that? They don't respond. I'm like, okay, but no.
I'll take it a step further. I'll say The Last Jedi was good for a Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Ooh.
Take that.
Talk about
Take that, Star Wars fans.
Yeah. But here's what I will say. I do like the fact that you guys have been commenting on it. So that's kind of fun. So yeah, I was moving away from Mike. My bad.
You're not used to it yet.
New Mike, who
He's
dis?
getting used to it. But today we're not talking about Star Wars. We're talking about different
I
science
got a
fiction
new
tropes.
Mike with old Mike. Just kidding.
Gross. Don't like that.
Nope.
I'm
That's also a
painfully
callback.
aware of my age. I have a gray hair now. Isn't that cool?
Oh my gosh, I've got so many just in my beard. So I'm primed and ready for this discussion because
That was a good
this
one.
was
We'll keep that one.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
all
going to
right.
start
This
bleeping out your puns when I think they're bad.
It's just gonna be one of those black bars over my face.
Yeah. You won't even
No
get to
audio
guess.
there.
We're talking about Primer today.
This
I
is-
recommended this one.
Yes.
We actually, okay, so the way that we generally do this is that we both pick a movie without any prior discussion. We're just like, hey, let's watch this and this.
Yeah, so like sometimes at the end of our recording we'll talk about it, and sometimes we don't, and we'll just once it gets closer to our next recording session, we're like, oh, we didn't pick a movie. What?
Yeah. So we'll talk about these.
Yeah, so this is one of those situations.
Yeah.
Where it was
So
getting late in
I
the
picked
week.
Primer.
Yep.
Which I think is a fantastic movie with a lot of like good stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
And you picked the one that we're going to talk about next, which I'm not going to talk about, but it's also a time travel movie.
Dude, it was so funny because as soon as I started watching Primer, which was immediately after you said, hey, let's watch this movie, I found it and just started watching it. I was like, whoa, this is so funny.
Yeah, because we both picked without knowing.
We both picked similar movies.
I picked indie budget time travel movie, and you picked like Hollywood blockbuster time travel movie.
I never even heard of it.
Not really, but
I mean,
comparatively, the budget was massively different.
Yeah, the actors and stuff like that. I mean, big names and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I was immediately
funny.
started laughing as I started watching it.
So Primer, do you want to talk about Primer for your impressions with Primer, or should I go first? I think you should go first because you were new to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was into it. But so what I'll say about Primer is that, and guys, this is a movie that you have never seen. I guarantee you've never seen this movie. I would bet money that you've never seen this movie.
98% of the population, I would say, has not seen this movie.
Yeah.
99 maybe.
Yeah, and I was one of that percentage until you said to watch it. And
I love converting you into the underground.
Yeah, underground films. Hey, and for you guys too, like, we want our channel to be a place where you can explore and experience new movies and stuff like that. But that being said, so Primer was a movie I'd never heard of. It definitely looked low budget. So I'll say that. And my first impressions were, again, as soon as it started getting that sci-fi, it started off as like some kind of small startup, like I would think for Jeff Bezos' story, since he's starting a garage, he's trying to figure out how to make it big and stuff like that. And that's what these guys are trying to do.
Yeah,
and so
that's true. They were trying to. Two scientists. We'll get into I'll do my best to explain the story in a little bit.
Yes, please.
But
because I was very confused. Like, they vaguely talk about what they're trying to do. There's 4 people, and 2 of them are closer connected in what they want to do, and the other 2 are closer connected in what they want to do, which is something different. Mm-hmm. And so they decide, okay, well, we're just going to split our things, and they can do their thing, we can do our thing.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. I immediately after it started getting into the sci-fi stuff, that's when I started laughing, because I was like, wow, we picked the same movie, basically.
Yeah, you didn't know until it started getting there, right?
I didn't know, but then and like I said, as soon as it happened, I just started laughing. I was like, wow, that's crazy that we both picked like the same type of movie.
We're very in tune. We're synchronized.
Yeah, we've synchronized our movie calibration.
Yeah, it's very good.
That's what happens when you're a full-time movie fan and you hang out with other full-time movie fans.
Yeah.
You get calibrated to each other. But that being said, speaking of calibrations, they made quite a few calibrations on some Mystery Machine. And that's not the Scooby-Doo van.
No.
It is something that has to do with electricity.
Yeah.
And waves of some sort.
You're doing a great job at recalling things that you saw in the movie.
Yeah, because my first impression was, yes, oh wow, this is similar, and then second was like, the more it got on, the less I feel like I was getting on what was actually happening.
And the more complicated it gets.
Yes, and so, but I would say I wouldn't say it's not that I wasn't into it. I was into it as much as my brain could understand, and I'll say this, like, I don't know where you stand on this, but there are some, I've heard studios and I've heard people talk about movies. They're like, oh, well, this is just too smart of a movie for people. You need to dumb it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that kind of talk.
I don't either.
But at the same time, I don't think I was smart enough to understand this movie.
Yeah, I have my own critiques about what they could have done to make that easier, but we'll get there.
Yeah, and I'll say this too right off the bat is.
But you're 100% correct. This is, if you are not paying 100% attention to this movie, it is so unapproachable.
Yeah. You can't be distracted while watching. You can't just play it in the background and get it still.
You told me you watched it twice.
I watched it twice
in a row.
Immediately, because like the first time I watched it, I'll admit I had my phone out and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of hungry. Let me go make me some ramen real quick. And then when I sat back down, I was like, what's going on? I was like, it's like someone came into my apartment and switched movies, and then I didn't know what was going on.
But with the same actors.
And I was like, whoa, what's going on? And so I immediately rewatched it with putting more effort into, hey, don't be distracted, put the phone away, try to understand.
Yeah.
because the review depends on it. You know what I mean? And so, but like I said, I will say that I was into it. So between our two movies, again, we'll talk about my movie after this one, but mine was, your movie was an extremely smart movie that I couldn't understand, and mine was a little bit, it was smart, but it was very...
We'll talk about that one too, but
it was a little bit more.
We had an opposite gripe, is that mine was too complicated and yours was like...
Maybe too simple.
Hey, do you want to know how the movie ends?
Yeah.
From like the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, yours didn't want to tell me. I felt like what's Ryan Gosling's character from The Notebook when he was talking to Rachel McAdams' character. Mm-hmm. What do you want?
Yeah.
Like I was like, tell me, what is this story? What does this mean? And they wouldn't tell me. Okay.
What I am getting from your first impressions is that you watched it twice.
I did.
Which means
I did watch it twice.
You could watch it twice.
You could. I would argue you have to.
Some people on the internet would argue that they've watched it 12 times and still don't get it.
Yeah, I would say.
Which, to be fair, I'm going to be very honest. I didn't get it. I like to be the person that's like, oh yeah, I understand this movie from jump, and I do it a lot. It's just because story structure and stuff. When you study it, it makes sense. This one. No clue. Yeah, absolutely no clue. Had to watch it a few times and then watch like 5 videos explaining the plot.
And there's some map somewhere about.
There is a map.
Yeah,
if you Google Primer timeline, it's like a chart that shows you like loops.
Yeah. So if you do want to watch the movie, maybe download the map, and then as you watch it, follow along that way. You might have a better grasp.
I would say go into it blind and then watch like a summary video and then watch it again, and you'll be good. With the timeline, so that you can be like, this is where we are in this, and this is what's happening while that's happening.
If you're blind, it would be hard to watch the movie, but I guess listen to the movie. If you're blind.
So my impression of this movie, when I heard about it, is that it was a. Well, actually, let me ask you this: were you put off by the quality of the movie?
You know what? In the world that we live in today, with all the CGI, and even in some of the newer movies, Marvel movies and stuff, I've heard a lot of complaints about CGI. I'm not a CGI snob.
Okay, yeah, I'm not either.
So that being said, if it's good enough, I mean, like, I'm many years older than you. In the double digits.
Guess in the comments. Guess.
I would say
what's the age gap?
At least in the double digits, if I remember correctly. And that being said, like, it's one of those things where I think back to what I grew up on, and like almost anything, I'm just kind of like, yeah, you know what, that's okay with me. You know what I mean? I literally was watching a really bad movie. Yeah, that was older.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a fair point.
And so, no, it didn't put me off at all. It kind of gave, like, you might think that it was meant to be that way. You know what I mean? Like, that it was recorded that way on purpose, which it was, because that's all they could afford when it comes to equipment. But, you know what I mean? I wasn't put off at all. It's not like, I think a lot of
It's not the prettiest movie.
no,
That's for sure.
no, not even a little bit. There's no good scenery. There's no like spectacular locations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
It's like 4 locations,
yeah,
and they all look pretty much the same.
which is like 3, which is about maybe 2 or 3 locations more than most Quentin Tarantino movies. Usually it's
Yeah,
just
true.
like one location.
Yeah, but one very pretty location.
yeah. So no, I wasn't. To answer your question, no, I was not put off by it. I did notice it, but
So, how I found this movie was by in the film circle. Sometimes people show
The
up and they're
inner-
like,
the
"This is
film
one of
inner
my
circle.
favorite movies." It's Reddit. That's the secret. If you want to find weird, like $10,000 Sundance award-winning movies, go on Reddit. That's the secret. Just so everybody knows that I'm not in some like elite inner circle that meets once a week and like
I would
has
believe
blood
it.
sacrifices.
I would believe it. With hooded,
would be neat.
dark
No,
hooded. No, I said dark. I
he's
said
trying
dark.
to get me on that one.
Dark hooded, basements with candles and
But someone was like, "Hey, if you like time travel movies, you should check out Primer because it's like the most complicated movie I've ever watched." And so I started looking into it, and I was like, "It's a movie that was made with," and the number changes every time, so I'm going to say under $10,000, which was also like oh my god, under $10,000 won the audience award at Sundance. Like, what is this movie?
that hit like your
That hit like every note for me.
that you were just like, ooh, now I must check this
Because
out.
I made a movie with $5,000.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, hard, very difficult to do. Would not recommend. So a movie that was around the same, it's like $7 or $8,000, I think, is what the actual number was for Primer. And I found
We'll
it
say
at the
between 7
time
and
that I
10.
was making my movie, and I was like, oh, so I could this is real. I could win a Sundance award.
You could.
I could have.
You could.
But this movie
believe
was
in you.
much smarter than mine was, by far.
I mean, again, too smart, I would say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't even know if you've watched mine yet, so
productive.
maybe
you know-
hold off on that
Well,
until
here's
you
the
see it.
Well, like I said, and I think in the game night episode,
Uh-huh.
like I'm not even sure if my Blu-ray player is hooked up,
Fair.
which is why and I didn't mess with it.
I'll send you the
So-
thumb drive.
So I I think even the last time when we did game night, I think I rented it, even though I own it. So
anyways, I watched the movie and I went, wow, this was so cool. I have no idea what's going on. Just like you did. And I think I watched it again like a couple of days later after doing we've established this a couple of times. I like to watch a movie, watch a bunch of like the behind the scenes, the making of and whatever that I can find, and then watching it again. And that's what I did with this. And it was really cool. The 2 guys that star in it, one of them, I can't remember who plays what, but my IMDb is not working, so it's hard for me to look. But one of them like wrote it, directed it, paid for it, everything, and and then they submitted it to Sundance and won the audience award.
Bank, called up his folks, taking to borrow some cash.
Yeah, as
Put
you
together
do.
a whole 10,000.
Yeah, and I think that this was back when everything was still on like tape.
Oh,
And so he actually had to cut it, not like in Final Cut Pro, but like manually splice it together, which is crazy for a $10,000 budget.
yeah. So then I think,
But
when you adjust
he's
for
an
inflation.
actual scientist too, so it like
when
the
you
things that he's talking about are
I think when you adjust for inflation, his
Based.
10,000 is more like 30 or 40.
is probably
in
like
today's money. So
I think it's probably more around like $20,000 probably.
I don't know. I don't really. I mean,
Jarvis the economist over here.
yeah. I mean, it's just I know.
But
that's
I
bad
think
right
you're
now.
I think you're probably based somewhere, in there. So I don't know. Those cameras are super expensive, and I think they only did it with one camera, which is smart if you don't have a lot of money.
Yeah,
Um,
which is how it went before I reached into your deep pockets, and now we got 3 cameras instead of the one that I was
Yeah,
using.
my deep pockets with the one webcam in the middle
Yeah,
for
yeah.
safety. Which, by the way, a little behind the scenes into this one. If you ever see the middle camera, something went wrong.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the 2 on the sides are perfectly fine for now.
Yeah. I think, man, I think we should get to the actual story as best we can.
I think I think we should, and I'm gonna
I think-
spare you in trying to explain it,
Thank
and
you.
spare myself
Yes.
by
thank you.
reading the Wikipedia summary.
Yeah, just to reiterate very clearly, I think we both really like the movie.
Oh yeah,
I think we would both recommend watching it.
oh for sure.
That's my
Yeah, you should
that's
absolutely
my
watch
take.
it.
Yes. Yes.
Is it the best movie ever? No.
Oh,
It's really good though.
I was gonna say yes. No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't gonna say yes.
Jarvis from 24 hours ago.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, you.
How'd you like that episode? Did you like it?
You like movies? You like this one?
Do ya?
You should subscribe to this
Yeah,
channel right
like
now.
Also, as well.
Yeah. You got friends? Yeah, you do.
Do you? Hopefully.
Show it to them.
Prove
Show
it.
this to them.
Prove it. Prove it to us. You got friends.
There's other videos to watch too. Why don't you watch those if you're so cool?
Yeah. Prove you're not a bot. Leave a comment.
Nerd.